The secret is out. For many years, I would walk into rooms and be the only beauty person in the entire room. When people ask me, what's your secret? You've been in business a really long time and you still really love what you do. Never stop doing stuff that you did. That is my number one key to success.
Networking is not what can you give me, it's more about what you can do for others.
Personal fulfillment is a big piece of the longevity. Helping other people, networking, mentoring as part of the wedding industry. I do more, not less. After 30 years, I'm in it to win it. I love this industry so much. It allows me to do something that I really love, which is professional hair and makeup, and not be alone.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and besides of being recently married, I own the leading company in bouquet preservation in the world. It is when connecting with my clients that I felt the need to serve them and help them navigate this new and exciting journey. On this podcast, we bring you everything you need to know to plan the wedding of your dreams. We'll be featuring conversations with top wedding vendors and valuable tips and advice from real couples. Whether you're engaged, simply love, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's get started on this journey to your perfect wedding day. Welcome to the club, to Bridal Club.
I have a very special guest with me today, Jen Trotter with Lip Service Makeup. She's been here on the podcast actually before, podcast number 26. So make sure that you listen to that one first. But I am so excited to talk to Jen because we have a lot to uncover, not only for brides-to-be, but also for vendors. Jen, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Andrea. I'm so happy to be here in your lovely headquarters.
Right? This is
I
the first
know.
time.
It's so fancy.
Well, thank you. You haven't even had the tour yet.
Last time we did a Zoom, so
Yeah,
this is
way more official.
yeah.
And the last time we did it was in actually 2024.
Has it been that long?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I feel very honored that you asked me to come back. I do. I love your podcast. I was telling you before we started that I listen all the time. And what's fun is a lot of the vendors I know, but I don't know their stories. So I enjoy, I actually know these people and work with these people, but just uncovering some of the little nuances and their motivations and things that may not come up. But I really enjoy it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jen, for those who have not listened to episode 26, why don't you tell our audience who you are and everything that you've done in 37 years?
Hey, everybody. I'm Jen Trotter. I'm the owner of a bridal beauty company called Lip Service Makeup based in Dallas, Fort Worth. That's the primary thing that I do. I got my start as a hair and makeup artist years ago doing commercial work. And I did that for several years before I founded Lip Service Makeup. And then I started kind of focusing on weddings. But even now, weddings are the biggest chunk of what we do, but we also do TV, film, corporate work, commercial work, anything that involves a face and some makeup and some hair, we do. I'm also a speaker and an educator, and I focus those efforts around communication strategies and conflict resolution. And I feel like that is so important because it's something that we're going to get to in a minute that I do all the time in my own business, which is find ways to keep conflict low. I think it's just such a core tenet of how I run my business and kind of how I run my life too. So I've cherry picked out that skill set and that interest and, that thing that's so close to my heart. And that's what I choose to teach when I speak at conferences like Wedding MBA, Cater Source, etc.
My podcast launched in 2023, which is so crazy to think. And when I first did it was honestly just conversations with my own wedding vendors because I was planning my own wedding and I wanted to give back to my brides and basically share my experience because they had a lot of questions for me that I didn't know how to answer. I had an amazing full service planner that was doing everything for me, Macy with Social Llama. And I just didn't have to have a lot of interactions with anyone else except for like just some key vendors. And I love learning about them and just sharing the story, and ultimately, I reached out to you. I was like, you need to be on this podcast. Like, you need to. And you said yes. And it was so amazing. We had so much fun. We did it through Zoom, as we discussed earlier as well. And I remember we met in person for the first time at one of Meredith Commander's holiday parties. And I met you and I was like, oh my God, this is Jen. I know her. And I told you, I think I'm going to kill the podcast. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because it was taking so much time. I mean, it is a ton of time before, during, and after, like all the editing, and you told me not to. And because of you, literally, Jen, I mean, Vicky is here, our podcast producer, and she knows the plan was to kill it. And we had that conversation and you were like, do not kill it, do seasons, do solo shows, but don't kill it. And I am just so glad we didn't.
And the reason I said that is I think you do an incredible job at this
Thank you.
podcast. I've been lucky enough to be asked to be on many podcasts and I've really enjoyed it, but you really have a gift with what you're doing here. And I think what you've created is wonderful. You're producing it really consistently. So it's good on the heart level, but it's also good, just from the product level. What you're putting out is high quality content that I think a lot of people really enjoy and really benefit from.
I appreciate that so much. And again, Vicky's here. I mean, honestly, 50-50. Thank you, Vicky. Yeah, she's
Great job, Vicky.
phenomenal. I mean, oh my God. And again, she just puts up with any creative ideas that we have, and then she just like goes with it and do her research and then just make it happen. So honestly, kudos to her because
I'm so glad that you guys stuck with it. I really am. And I'm really honored when you reached out and said you wanted me to do this again. I was like, a second time? Okay.
Well, yes, because then we really got to know each other. Why don't you tell the story?
And then we got to know each other because we both served on the WIPA Dallas-Fort Worth board. And
What's
for
WIPA?
people who may not be aware, WIPA is the Wedding Industry Professional Association. It is a professional organization that is nationwide, specifically for wedding vendors. And I've been a WIPA member for, this is going into my 6th year now. And I served 3 years on the board and currently have been appointed to the National Board of Directors. I'm the National Director of Membership Retention. And Andrea and I served in Dallas-Fort Worth at the chapter level.
Yeah.
And so we got to hang out and do board service and do WIPA things. And that's how we got to talking about everything we're going to delve into today.
Right. And then also something that we have realized, well, as I said before, like the podcast started just from I wanted to get back to my brides. That's literally what happened. And then I realized later on that brides, after they get married, they perhaps may listen to another episode or maybe 2, but then they move on, right? I mean, they move on with their life. They're not longer planning a wedding. But I realized that the podcast was really growing with vendors, like crazy. Yes. I mean, so many vendors listen to our podcast and they want to get inspiration from other vendors or they want to learn about the business, and I just had no idea. And I've always loved so much. I mean, I love obviously what we do with the flowers, but I love as much marketing, branding, business. And so whenever you and I start geeking out on things that we can teach, yes, I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to come back. I don't know if you know this, but our podcast is shared more than 97% of all podcasts on Spotify. Isn't that incredible?
What?
I know.
That's incredible.
That came from Spotify itself.
Congratulations.
I know. It's like, what?
That's why you got to keep doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's like no way we're stopping now.
That's
but
why you
honestly,
thank you
for you. Thank you.
But I'm one of those vendors who's listening regularly. And I think that the industry we're in is so unique. And it's one of the reasons why we feel that pull to connect with other people who understand the heart behind what we do and the uniqueness of what we do.
Yes.
It's just different. It's not like, working a 9 to 5 in an office. It's just different. The stakes are a lot higher and it's emotion heavy, good and bad sometimes. There's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows. It's just unique and different in a lot of interesting ways. And I think it's really important to connect with other people, which is kind of what we're here to talk about today.
I've been pressing flowers for 10 years or preserving flowers for 10 years, but I didn't really get too much into networking until 2 years ago. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I went to WIPA thinking like, hey, you know what? I'm going to pay my fee, $350 or whatever per year. And if I do one connection, they send me a referral and then it's paid for. And that's what I want to get out of WIPA. And I went to 2 events and I got absolutely 0 ROI. And I was so frustrated. I was like,
I think we talked about this.
Like, this is crazy. Like, I didn't even make a connection. This is not for me. But then I changed the mentality of networking. Networking is not what can you give me? It's more about what you can do for others, right? 100%. I want you, since you have so much experience, to talk more about that.
Okay. And so I'm not sure if I mentioned it a moment ago, but I hit a big milestone last year. I celebrated 30 years in business.
Amazing.
I have not yet had a party or a celebration. I've been too busy, but at some point, maybe I will.
Yeah, you should. And we better be invited.
I know. Put a pin in it. But nonetheless, that was a big milestone. And it's so incredible. I don't even know how it happened really, but By the time this airs, I will have already given a talk at NACE, DFW. I'm doing a talk called Built to Last. And I was telling you about this talk that I'm doing. And it's about how to stay relevant, how to stay resilient, how to be in the business for a long time, adapting to changes, how to not get burnt out as well as anyone else. Who is more excited to do what they do than me? Even after 30 years, I'm in it to win it. I am pumped about it. I'm excited about it. I'm not burnt out. I'm not on my last legs by any stretch of the imagination. People always ask me how.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share some of my own personal story. Everyone's journey is different. They don't have to do what I did. They
Right.
can kind of create your own adventure here. But I'm going to talk about what happened for me and the things that I think are important and maybe some of my little secret sauce tips for staying connected long term. One of those big things is associations. I initially started with the Professional Wedding Guild, which is a local organization in Fort Worth. When did I start attending PWG? Probably 18 years ago. I was invited to attend and I was like, oh my goodness. And at that point, my company was part-time.
Wow.
I was working full-time as the director of Make-A-Wish in Fort Worth. I was working full-time, had this business on the side, and I was reluctant to take it full-time because in my head, I thought, well, I'm going to be by myself. I don't want to be by myself. And it just doesn't sound fun. I'm used to working with a team of people.
Right.
And when I went to PWG, I looked around at planners and photographers and DJs and everyone. I was like, these are my people. So even though we all own our own companies, these are my people. This is my network. And it just clicked in for me. And I was like, I have a totally different viewpoint. And honestly, joining PWG and getting on that road with networking and associations, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I wouldn't, because I probably would have never taken lip service full time.
Wow.
And I would have never built it into the company that it is today. And so that was a big moment for me. And through that, I mean, I still have friends that I do business with, but they're also just personal friends. And I have some people, Justine with Justine's Flowers. Shout out to Justine, my favorite.
She's
Love you,
awesome.
Justine. I've known Justine since 1999.
Wow.
Jamie with Creme de la Creme, Tracy Autumn, Georgette Poole. These are some people that I work with, but they're friends.
Right.
We are ingrained in each other's lives. We're important to each other. And I just treasure them.
Yeah.
I treasure them professionally and personally, both. And for me, that is helping my business, but it's also helping my personal fulfillment. That personal fulfillment is a big piece of the longevity.
Yes.
If you don't feel that personal fulfillment, it's going to be real tough to hang in for 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how people would do it.
Yeah. I actually had a conversation with two people at WIPA at the one of the last events from last year. So it was 11/11. I remember clearly we were on the crest at the Crescent, and these two women were about 40 years old. And one was a planner, one was a makeup artist. And of course, I'm not going to say their names, but they were like, yeah, we're thinking about retiring soon. And I was like, what? You're 40. I'm going to be 35 in just a couple weeks. I am not retiring in 5 years. I'm just getting started. And so I remember your conversation because we had the conversation before and we had discussed having this conversation too. And I'm like, well, they don't know it yet, but they need to listen to this podcast with Jen because if they love what they do, they should not be thinking about retiring and doing something else. And I asked them, so why do you think that is? And they said, well, we think that there's a lot of newer people in the industry that can bring more ideas and we just don't feel like we're a good fit anymore. I was like, that's crazy.
It's crazy to me.
Honestly, that's just a mentality, really.
I think it's a mentality. I think you could have that mindset no matter what age you are. I just don't have that mindset. And so I think it is super crucial if you are 25 and you are the new hot vendor on the scene, whether you do hair and makeup, you're a DJ, you're a planner, whatever it is that you do in this space. If you're new and fresh, that is fantastic. We want you. Come to the party.
Yeah.
Bring your new perspectives and your new ideas. Now, I'm going to speak for all the veteran vendors when I say, please, for the love of everything, do not start teaching people and calling yourself an expert at that point. Please don't do that. Wait till you've earned the credentials.
Yeah.
The timetable is different for everyone, but give it a minute. Get some notches on your belt before you start calling yourself an expert. But I welcome those new people and that new energy. I think that's great. And then there's a whole bunch of people who are kind of in the middle of their journey. They've been doing whatever it is they do for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. These are like, if we were a corporate entity, these people would be middle management. They would be the meat and potatoes,
Mhm.
the main structure of a corporate entity. But then you've also got like the CEOs and the leaders, and those are the veterans.
Right.
And look at it. If you look at a hospital, how old is the head surgeon going to be?
Mhm.
Probably 50s, 60s.
Mhm.
The top law firm in town, how old is main partner going to be?
Yeah.
Et cetera. So I don't think there's any reason, as long as you're healthy, as long as you're engaged, as long as you're not tired of it. I mean, ride that wave as long as you can. And that's kind of my perspective. And I've adapted and changed the whole way. Let's not forget, when I first started, there was no social media.
Okay,
It didn't
so
exist.
again, this is 96, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no social media. It was not a
Right.
thing. So for
You've seen it
me,
all. Oh my
I've seen it
goodness.
all. I lived through the baby's breath and mason jars days and
Yeah.
all of that. But meeting with clients was very, very different. People would have to schedule a coffee date, like at a Starbucks or a coffee shop. I would sit across from them with a hard copy portfolio, which that's embarrassing. Like I am thinking about it. I'm like, that's wild. But with a hard copy portfolio, we would chat, get to know them, and they'd be like, "Great, you're awesome. Let's book." And they would write me a check to book. It was so analog and so different. Social media, yeah, it's a little scary for those of us who weren't raised on it, but I love it. I think it is. I'm all about it. My TikTok is doing really right
Oh,
now.
I
I'm
need
like,
to
let's
check it
go
out.
on the TikTok. I love social media because it helps me put out more work. It's a evergreen portfolio that people can creep onto their heart's content. If you're a bride out there listening, or a couple, I mainly deal with brides because I do hair and makeup for a living. But if you're a person who's getting married, let's put it that way. If you're a person who's getting married, oh my goodness, that is such a benefit for you. You can creep to your heart's content. You can really dig into someone's portfolio,
Yeah.
check out their work. You can make sure they're not crazy. You can see who they work with, see which venues they work with. You can do all of that before you ever make a phone call or send in an inquiry.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's harder now or easier now that social media is around?
I think easier now.
Okay. Even though that means that you have a lot more competitors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you elaborate?
My marketing plan is deep and wide. I'll tell you that. One of my best compliments that someone ever gives me is when I'll say, "How did you hear about me?" And they say, "Everywhere."
Ah,
And I'm
yes.
like, yes.
Yeah.
And that is very intentional. I
Mhm.
have designed my marketing to be deep and wide. And I don't advertise everywhere. That's a joke. But I don't put all my eggs in one basket. And you cannot just rely on, "Oh, I bought an ad. Okay,
Oh yeah.
everybody, knock down my door."
Oh yeah.
Or, "Oh, I have a good social media. I posted a fun little reel. Is everyone knocking down my door?" I have
Yes.
done it all, meaning I put the stuff on social media. I meet face to face. I do coffee dates with people. I go to open houses, and I like to go to open houses myself personally.
Mm.
Like I go.
Well,
I want to talk to brides when I can. I can't do them all myself, but I like to meet with people face to face. I like to shake hands, look them in the eye, and let them see how passionate I am
yeah.
about what I do. And I have a couple of marketing platforms. I do Party Slate, I do Wed Society. So I've got it all in all of these different forms. So I'm not relying on any one thing to propel my business forward.
I'm very glad that you mentioned that. Look, whenever I started preserving flowers, there were not a lot of competition out there whatsoever, like
Mhm.
whatsoever. And my return on investment on social media ads, which is now Meta.
Your social media is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Vicky and I worked really hard for it. But my return on investment before it was 25x.
Mhm.
25x.
Mhm.
Spend $1, get 25. Imagine that duplicated by
Mhm.
hundreds, if not, actually
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands.
At the end of the day, marketing is connecting with your audience in an authentic way
Yes.
and making sure that they see you and
Right.
that they can connect with you. And that can happen in a lot of different ways. And it doesn't matter how many other people you're competing against. That still is that's what I was doing when I was meeting people in the coffee shop. And I literally didn't even know who my competitors were.
Right.
I didn't even know who I was competing against. It was true then. I was being my most authentic self. and showing people my passion for what I was doing and the experience I could create for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the exact same thing now. Just if you think of like a spider web, just in a bunch of different
And
ways.
going back to my example, it is not what it used to be at all. Like right now, my return investment is 5x. You're talking about a fifth of what it was before. And so if I had put all my eggs in one basket, which is Instagram, and just obsess over it and just pretend that it's going to give me the same results.
That damn algorithm.
No, absolutely not. So you definitely have to have a lot of different marketing strategies. And I also want to talk to you about branding, because it's not marketing. Marketing is having somebody actually look at your company. Branding is you and I were Black all the time. You were
all
your
the
red.
time.
Why? It's branding. It's our branding. It's part of our branding.
My red lipstick?
Yes, 100%.
It's branding.
You are the brand. You are the brand. You have to remember that, because every single time that you're networking, every single time that you're going to an event, an open house, every single time that you're at a wedding, I'm actually post-wedding, you have to show your presence, because that's your brand.
That's your brand.
That's your brand. Your voice is your brand. Your energy is your brand.
And I don't want to jump the gun if we want to talk about this later, but consistency is incredibly important. But this is as good a place as any, but I'm going to drop one of my number one pieces of advice. Whenever if we're chatting, whether I'm getting to know someone better that I've known for a while or getting to know a new vendor. So whether I'm talking to someone that I already know or talking to a new vendor that I'm trying to get to know, if it comes up and people ask me like, what's your secret? You've been in business a really long time and you still really love what you do. What is your number one secret to that longevity? And I will tell you, my number one secret is never stop doing the stuff that you did. Never stop doing it. That is, when I look at other people that kind of fade into oblivion, that is kind of what I see.
Yes.
Here's what I mean. When you hit the market and you're like, "Ooh, I'm all young and hungry and I'm going to do all the things and I'm going to attend all the things and I'm going to, hi, nice to meet you. And I'm so-and-so." And you have that energy and that spark and you're doing all the things, whatever that is for you. And then you get to a certain point and you're like, okay, now I'm comfortable. I've got some good business. I've got some good revenue. I've got a good reputation. People are booking me. And so I'm going to go to a few less things and I'm going to a few less events and I'm going to, I don't really need to do that. And I don't really need. And then if you're really good at what you do and you're lucky enough to find that success, there's no luck. It's a lot of hard work, but you know what I mean? But if you're fortunate enough that your hard work and the market and everything comes together and you're really, really successful, and then you just are like, I don't need to attend that. And I don't need to do that. And I don't need to do that. And all of a sudden, it can happen overnight. And all of a sudden you're like, who is that person? Who are we talking about? So that is my number one key to success. I have never stopped. In fact, I do more. I do more now than I ever have in my entire career. And that means helping other people, networking, doing things with WIPA, mentoring people, all the different things that I do as part of the wedding industry. I do more, not less.
Yeah, I agree. Consistency is definitely key. At the end, I have seen, especially on the floral preservation business, that people are not consistent and then they just vanish and then they just close.
They do. I've seen really, really talented, awesome people vanish.
Yes.
I mean, who knows? Like, things are always going to happen. Maybe you have kids and you decide like, oh, I want to shift my life. There's things that are going to happen. But I think if it's your choice to step away, fantastic. If that is a strategic life choice, I want to go in a different direction, whatever the case may be, awesome. But if this is the industry that you love and you want to stay relevant, that consistency is really important.
Right.
And being top of mind and being in front of people and being face to face. People really underestimate the power of being in person, face to face. And since I've already done it and I've already been down that road and the secret is out, now I will tell you, one of my secrets for years has been all the networking events that I attend.
Right.
Because do you know, for many, many years, I would walk into rooms and be the only beauty person in the entire room.
Wow.
The only one in the entire room. And I would sit back and be like, nobody else has figured this out yet. No one else has figured it out, but it's just, and I'm not selling. I'm not walking around at networking meetings going, hi, book my, I'm not doing that at all. I'm just forging natural, organic
Which by the way,
relationships.
you and I both had an experience with one person who was pushing it so much, and we both talk about it on the side. But she was like, "Hey, this is why I want to join WIPA, and I need to meet these people." I'm like, "Okay, that is just not how it works, right?" Because
It's not how you
ultimately,
do
we're
it.
there, like we may be on the board, but we're there, yes, to help facilitate some networking as well, especially for those that may not be social butterfly. However, we're
Yeah.
there to network as well. So there's not our job to introduce you to your whole list of people that you want to meet. And then after introducing her to somebody, she'll be like, "Okay, I met her. Can you introduce me?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. That is not like build a
It's not what it
connection."
is.
Honestly, you may go to one networking
I ca-
event and talk to one person, and if that person is the right person,
Mhm.
you killed it,
Yeah.
right?
I call that used car salesman energy. No offense to used car sales, and
Just
no
saying.
offense to you, people who sell used cars. We all know what I'm talking about when I
Yeah, of
say that,
course.
right?
Yeah,
I call it like that just desperate to make the sale energy
right.
is such a turnoff. It's such a turnoff. And there
Yes.
is a way to be excited and to meet people and say, "Hey, this is what I do and I'd love to work with you." That's probably the biggest sell I'm ever going to say to anybody is like, "Oh my gosh, if I'm meeting a photographer and I love their work, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'd be so pumped if we had a bride together. That'd be great." Like that is the hardest sell I would ever give.
Agreed. You're not there to sell.
No, I'm not there. I'm not there to sell. That is not my job.
Right.
My job is to connect, to get to know you. And maybe our journey will simply be that I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you some advice that's going to help you in your career. And maybe our paths aren't going to cross and we're not really going to do a lot of weddings together. Maybe that's not our journey together. Maybe our journey is, oh my God, I've been looking for a bridal beauty pro I can really trust.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're sending me all these people and we're doing a lot of business. It can be, who knows? And I'm okay with that. It doesn't have to be the same journey with every single person. But no, I'm not there. That's not the way that you network. The networking is to build those organic relationships, to find support. There's education. You're going to find those resources to where you don't feel alone, to where you're like, oh my God, these other people are having the same struggles I'm having, whether it's finances or your insurance or things going on in the community like COVID. That was a crazy time when the community really had to come together because we
Right.
were all like, oh my God, what the hell do we do?
Yeah.
Having a network of people to rely on is if you have a crisis. Some of my florist friends, they have multiple people they could call. Like if they had an accident on their way to a gig, they have multiple people they could call in 2 seconds to be like, hey, can you come pick up my florals and deliver them to this event?
Yeah.
You need that.
Yes.
I have several makeup artist friends. We're all team owners. We have a text chain. We talk about stuff all the time. Does someone have someone to help out here? Does someone have someone to help out there? That community, even amongst your competitors, is really important. It's
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah, I agree. I have been blessed to be able to collaborate with some of my competitors as well. In fact, I actually had,
Wait, you have competitors?
oh my God, we have a lot of competitors. But no, this is like a long time ago. She actually became my affiliate artist. So I would basically send work her way, and I would disclose that, of course, in the beginning to my brides, like,
Mhm.
hey, this is her work. It's not precisely like my work. It's a little bit different. But if you want to book her, she's a little bit cheaper. And it was like basically through me. And her
Mhm.
and I collaborated in so many things, and we just bounced ideas around. And she saved me a lot of money. And I'm sure I saved her a lot of money as well.
Yeah.
So that is obviously very important. Also, because we were earlier talking about vanishing. And I think a lot of the time that happens because you deal with a situation or an upset client and you don't know how to deal with it and you think that's the end of the world.
Mhm.
Obviously, with experience, after 10 years in my case, 30 years in yours,
Mhm.
a customer who is upset, which happens once or twice per year,
Mhm.
first of all, there's going to be a solution for it. And it is not the end of the world. So having those connections, you can bounce ideas around and just tell them like, hey, I'm dealing with this. What would you do? And it is not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. And I'm so glad that you brought that up too, because that's another piece of the puzzle that's one of my secrets, if you will. That's not a secret because I speak about this at Wedding MBA, at Cater Source, at ILEA, at NACE. But I am a big believer in keeping conflict low.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem like a very sexy topic. Like people really want to talk about like, ooh, AI and the latest marketing thing. And it's not a shiny business tenant, but it's so grounded. And I'm telling you, it works. And so what I mean by keeping conflict low is I designed my business so that I don't spend very much time at all having to deal with BS. Like I don't have to deal with a lot of ticked off clients. I'm not having to deal with issues amongst my staff. I'm not having dust ups with vendor partners because I can't get along with people. Like, think about how much time that wastes when you're
Right.
doing all of that. If you're spending time arguing with people on social media about politics or even just an issue within the industry, no, you will never catch me arguing with a stranger
Right.
on the internet ever. That's
Right.
never going to happen. I have important things to do, and so does everyone else. But keeping conflict low makes it to where, yeah, things are going to happen. I get a toxic client every once in a while. It'll happen. Every once in a while, I'll have a frustrating situation with my staff. Can I give a shout out to my staff really fast?
Of
We haven't had a chance
course.
to talk about them, but I have the best team. They are so wonderful. I especially want to give a shout out to Amber and Priscilla. They've been with me the longest. They've been with me about 13 years,
Well,
and they are the core of lip service. And I could not the lip service existed before I built my team, but they helped me expand it because
mm,
I trust them.
yes.
I trust them like they have my pin and they know how to get in my email. Trust
Mm,
them. I trust these girls so much.
mm,
They're absolutely wonderful. I couldn't do it without them. But, back to keeping your conflict low, it's just really important to look at how you deal with clients, how you deal with your staff, how you move through the world, even how you deal with your family and your personal life at home. But for me, yeah, stressful things are going to happen. Things are going to drop in my lap that are going to tick me off, stress me out. It's conflict that I have to then address or deal with. I don't want to be the one causing it. And that's how I
correct.
look at it is
100%.
if it happens, I'm here for it. I have strategies, I have tools. And by the way, I can teach you those strategies and tools as well. That's what
Same.
I do.
Yep.
Is I have the tools in my toolbox. I know what to do. I know what to say. I know how to handle it. But I don't want to be the one bringing that to my door. I don't
Hmm.
want to be the one with vendor partners, when my name comes up, they're like, oh my God, she's such a pain. That is not me. And that
Yeah.
is not going to be me. I look at conflict differently. I do get that pit in my stomach when it happens. If I have a client who's upset or something, which is pretty rare, it doesn't happen too often, but like if something happens and someone's irritated or upset, I immediately get really still. I'm not reactive. I'm not a reactive person. It's really rare that
And you
I get sparked up and reactive.
I used to be reactive,
Yeah.
big time. Seriously used to. But meditation has helped me a lot. But
Yeah.
you have to learn how to not be reactive.
The more I feel like something is prickly or intense, or I'm angry or the more that has a potential to be inflammatory, the calmer and more still I'm going to get.
Hmm.
Because basically what I'm thinking in that moment is like, stop, get that toolbox, open it up,
Yep.
and start pulling
Yeah.
out those tools. And for example, say I'm working with a client and I'm having an issue with a client and they're ticked off about something, or something isn't going that smoothly or whatever. We had a client earlier this year who had a bad experience with a different team. And then the planner brought them to us and said they're a little prickly because they've not had a good experience. And I wasn't worried or nervous. I was like, this is perfect because I am up for this challenge.
Right.
I know what to do. And I'm like, this is a great opportunity for me to show this planner, you picked the right girl.
Yeah.
You picked the right person. I know what to do here. Like, I get kind of goosebumps thinking
Yeah.
about it. Like,
You
don't
know,
think I'm cheesy, but I do. I get excited to think this is a chance. This is a chance to overcome. This is a chance to turn it around. This is a chance to make it shine and to show that planner that no matter what happens, I'm not going to freak out. I'm
Yeah.
going to figure it out.
It's so crazy that you said that because obviously we're dealing with an icy day and we actually had 2 cancellations today. So Vicky and I are just like try to figure it out as we go, and like there was a lot of communication back and forth of things happening, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, I'm zen. Like that is just my new me, like everything happens for a reason. Things always fall into place. And we're just gonna continue to learn, and honestly, that attitude alone just changes everything.
Here's the thing. If something happens, if something pisses you off or upsets you, you shouldn't feel bad about being angry or ticked off. That's really normal. Like, what do you think? I don't get angry or ticked off? I totally do. I do have those feelings, but I think, and again, because I've spent the time, I don't know that I would be so good at this if I hadn't spent as much time really trying to master
Right.
the techniques.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that I don't get upset. It's that I feel those feelings and then I set them to the side and then I focus on, okay, what's really going on here?
Right.
Is this person just having a bad day? Maybe this is an occasion where I just need to let it go. And I
Mm-hmm.
just need, it's fine. She just had a bad day. Is this a situation where, man, this is hardcore? I'm going to have to sit down and really hash it out, because if I don't, this relationship could be damaged.
Mm.
Is it that kind of a thing? Is it, then I can assess it in a more neutral way because I've felt my feelings and I set them over to the side,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that comes with maturity and a lot of
Yes.
experience. It
I try to
does.
be mature, but I think it helps that at the heart of it, I'm pretty patient. I used to work at the Make-A-Wish Foundation where emotions run high. You're dealing with situations that are literally life and death, that are
Mm.
far more emotionally weighty
Yeah,
than what we deal with in the wedding industry.
right.
And it was not easy. And I didn't have training to deal with that, to deal with sick children and sometimes dying children.
Oh my gosh.
So when I dealt with that, when I worked at Make-A-Wish, there's a lot of emotional weight to that. You're dealing with things that could literally be life and death. And fortunately, in the wedding industry, it's not life and death. We're trying to create incredible experiences. Yeah, the pressure is high. There's a lot of money involved, and there's no do-overs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of emotional weight, but I'm used to it.
Right.
I'm used to it. And working at Make-A-Wish actually really helped me with that.
Mm.
Helped me understand, don't be afraid of that emotional weight, but caretake that
Mm.
emotional weight.
I
Does that
love
make
that.
sense?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Awesome. I want to go back to networking. There's a lot of people that are joining WIPA.
hmm
I think, well, actually, I don't really know the number of people that joined last year, but we had something
I,
incredible.
oh gosh, we just talked about this at the retreat. We had over 100 new members in the DFW
Isn't that
chapter,
crazy?
just in the DFW chapter
Yeah.
last year. And yeah, currently this could change at any point, but right now the Dallas Fort Worth chapter is the largest chapter in the country.
Yay. Yeah, we work hard for it.
Yes, yes, very much so. And
Yeah.
if the Dallas Fort Worth market is huge.
Yeah.
It is a huge wedding market. It is very robust, and we should have a lot of members here because we have a large market.
I agree.
But we're thriving. The Texas market is thriving, but there's chapters all across the country: New York, LA, Chicago, Nashville, Cincinnati. They're all over the country. There's 25 chapters
Yeah,
currently
it's incredible.
and
And
growing.
yes, and also the coolest thing about it is that you have veterans like you know,
Mhm.
like the ones that could be the CEO of a company,
Mhm.
and then you have newer people that are just getting involved in the wedding industry. I think they have to be like at least 1 year old, right? Like the
3,
company, 3 years old. That's
3
actually
years,
good.
3 years within the industry.
Which is great because you obviously need some experience for you to
Mhm.
actually be able to give and not just receive. I want to talk to you about people like me that don't consider themselves like a social butterfly and have a really hard time sometimes networking, especially if you go to an event and you don't know anybody.
Okay, and we've talked about this before. And one thing that I would say is, if you feel like you're introverted, I think one of the easiest ways to take something that creates a struggle for you is to reframe it. And the way you reframe it is, instead of going, well, I'm an introvert, well, I'm just shy. Your self-talk and how
Mhm.
you frame things in your mind is really important. So if you say in your mind, well, I'm just shy, so this is hard for me, or there's too many people, like if you reframe in your head and say, you know what, I'm more comfortable with one-on-one situations.
Okay.
I'm more comfortable with smaller groups.
Mm.
That makes me more comfortable. And I'm not saying you have to say this out loud to other people. You're saying this to yourself.
I love that so
Okay.
much.
So you're saying to yourself, you know what? I want to create situations where I know I'm going to shine one-on-one or in smaller groups. I'm more comfortable with that. Instead of going, oh, these big groups, it's
Yeah.
scary. I think that's the first place to start, is to
Okay.
reframe it in your head. And you can absolutely network in smaller groups. Something I do it a lot, really all year. I meet with people one-on-one, and those are fantastic connections.
Mhm.
And sometimes we will just yak, yak, yak and not even talk about work. We'll just talk about our lives and our kids and makeup and TV shows and who knows what else. But one-on-ones are great, but then also find your smaller group within the larger group. So if you're attending WIPA and there's an event where there's 150 people, don't focus on all 150 people.
Right.
Focus on the person to your left and the person to
Yep.
your right at the table. Or find out ahead who's going. Oh, are you going to WIPA? Okay,
Yep.
great. I'll come find you.
Yep.
I'll come find you.
I call it my hit list.
Yeah, your hit list. Absolutely. So if you're not as comfortable see, I'm not going to say you're shy or introverted,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're not as comfortable, just like, oh, hey, everybody, if that's not your cup of tea,
Yeah.
that's the way to approach it,
I
is
love
to
that
think
advice.
of, hey, I know that these certain people are, here's a friend, I'm going to go find her. Here's this photographer, I really want to talk to him. So I'm going to make sure that I cross the room and go say hello to him.
Right.
Focus on those one-on-one or small group interactions within the larger
Yeah.
group. We've done it a few times, having like a talking
Oh,
point
yes.
or like a table host.
Yes.
And as a board member, we've had to do that. If not had to, we've gotten to do that.
Right.
Asking a question and kind of fostering conversation amongst the table.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
really extroverted, so I have no problem
yeah,
doing
we're
that.
kind of like the opposite. Now, I
Yeah.
will say every single time that I go to an event, don't get me wrong, I have a headache the whole next day. However, I never, ever, ever regret it. Never.
Never.
No, because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I
I've
did.
never attended an event and thought like, well, that was just horrible and
Yeah.
terrible. Like, even if I only connect with one or two people, I'm still going to have a good time. I never regret it.
Yeah.
It's really rare, but I would say about twice a year. It's a weird thing. Like, I'll wake up in the morning and be like, no, not today. I'm just not. It's incredibly rare, but when it happens, I might occasionally skip an event or
Nice.
something. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I know I'm an extrovert because I'll attend that event and I feel really energized afterwards. I don't feel depleted. I feel
Oh, wow.
energized.
That's awesome. I'm gonna definitely not label myself anymore, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna try
don't
to.
label
Yeah,
yourself.
that's
Mhm.
good. Something that I really want to do, hopefully this year. I told Jordan Fathery last year, I really want to do a speed dating sort of, but
Yeah.
for WIPA. You are forced to talk to one-on-one for like 5 minutes to somebody, and then you change. Obviously, it would have to be a smaller setting, but I would love that because then you were like literally talking to 30 people.
I don't believe we've done it with WIPA, but we have done it with NACE. We've done it with PWG.
That's awesome.
So, and it's a lot of fun.
Jen, how do you want to close this?
Gosh, I just want to speak to the audience out there listening. If you're a person getting married and you just came along for the ride to get a little peek into the industry, I'm so glad that you were here, and I hope you could understand the heart and soul that goes behind all of your wedding pros, and maybe get a little peek into how much they devote and the passion that they have for what they're doing to create that experience for you. So that's what I would say if you're listening and you're a person getting married and you're like, what's this all about? And then to the vendors, I would say, like, I love you guys, man. I love this industry so much and I treasure all of the people like you. I think you're wonderful and I'm so happy that we've become friends. But I treasure those connections because it allows me to do something that I really love, which is professional hair and makeup, and not be alone. I
Right.
don't have to be by myself, just sorting out this life out by myself. I have all of these other people that I can move through the world with and this crazy industry with. And that is the gift that all of those people bring to me. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Well, thank you again so much for being here. How can people find you, connect with you, and hopefully hire you to do mentorships or to do their makeup
To
and
do all the
yeah, all the
things.
things.
Okay. You can find me at Lip Service Makeup. And so that's lipservicemakeup.com. Lip Service Makeup, you can find us everywhere. Look for the black and white stripes and little red lips, kind of like Sephora, but I think I had it first, but that's okay.
I
That's
love
okay.
it.
Anyway, you'll look for our logo, but Lip Service Makeup on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the places, Lip Service Makeup. Follow along. You can see all the different things we're doing. And by the way, if you like true crime, we work with Dateline in 2020. So there's some fun little things that I'll pop in our social media there as well. If you're interested in talking to me about speaking to your group, your organization, chambers of commerce, Rotary clubs, your company, etc., you can also reach me at the Jen Trotter. I was going to do Jen Trotter, but it was taken. So I had to get fancy and
I
put
like
the Jen Trotter in front of it. So thejentrotter.com. I also have an Instagram for the Jen Trotter. I don't yet have a TikTok, but you can connect with me there. That's where you'll see the next places I'm speaking, the conferences that I'm speaking at, and WIPA content. I put a lot of my WIPA content on that platform as well.
That's awesome. Jen, lastly, I do want to say that when you told me to do a solo show, I did too, based on weddings. And ever since we spoke about that in 2024, you have truly inspired me to share more about this type of conversation. So thank you for doing that. And you're going to see a lot more
Aw.
of me talking about business because I love business. So thank you.
Well, and you're incredibly successful, and so I absolutely think you should share more. I'm thrilled that I could. Oh gosh, I'm really honored that it helped you.
Yeah, you really did.